Welcome, welcome, welcome to Prosperity Health Recipes. And tonight we will have Power Brain Food. And so I'm Maureen G Mulvaney, and I will be your master chef for this evening. And tonight we're going to talk about Power Brain Food. What is good for us to keep our brains healthy and our memories strong? And so tonight we start with um, a quote from our health book, which is the Bible. And on the banks, on the both sides of the river, there will grow all kinds of trees for food. Their leaves will not wither, nor their fruit fail, but they will bear fresh fruit every month, because the water for them flows from the sanctuary. Their fruit will be for food, and their leaves for healing. So you are promised abundance and you are promised healing all throughout the Bible. And my definition of vibrant health is for each and every one of you to waken every single morning easily and effortlessly, filled with joy and a good attitude and plenty of energy to get you through the day. That you have a good appetite that keeps you at your most efficient and effective weight, and that you have good memory, a good sense of humor, and a clear mind filled with gratitude and love for life. And so we say, I want you to speak out every day and claim vibrant health is my birthright. I shimmer with excitement. I am vibrantly healthy. Because we say that every single day, you claim your vibrant health. And when you claim your vibrant health, you get more of it. And so our time for review, I always like to talk about spaced repetition. And spaced repetition, we know, is hearing, seeing, and experiencing something 6 or more times daily within a 30-day period. And that's why in this class, I continually repeat to help you learn so that you get the information down into your bones. I want it to become part of your body and part of your subconscious, because we know that only about 1% of what we do in life is through the conscious mind. Most of who we are, what we think about health, relationships, jobs, everything is in the subconscious. And my personal mantra is, I want these habits to develop for you in the conscious mind. So by consciously deciding to say, I am vibrantly healthy, I claim my birthright, I shimmer with excitement. When you say this, you are absolutely telling the cells of your body what you deserve and who you are. And for me, my personal mantra is, and that I repeat over and over again, I am the master chef of my body. I whip up vibrant health. I feed my body nurturing foods and beverages, as well as nourishing thoughts and experiences. I cook up wellness by always remembering to take out my trash, which are my negative thoughts, as I clean and cleanse my beliefs. I pamper and respect my body, and I understand that my body knows how to heal itself, and it is always in the healing process. I claim vibrant health. And when we claim vibrant health, we are telling all of our cells that this is what I want and this is who I am. So I want us to power up your brain this week. And the brain is, oh my gosh, the brain is the most powerful asset you have in life. Getting old does not mean that you have to suffer brain deterioration. But to avoid this, we need to get accurate and updated information right away and start doing some things now, because most of us have had a lifetime of TV commercials about foods and different things. And we've been eating a lot of things that might not be the best for our bodies, especially your brain. With this session information, my hope is that it will be easier for you to adapt simple and empowering eating habits. By doing so, you will improve your health and your well-being. But most importantly, more important than that, you will be able to enjoy many more years with your loved ones with a powerful, boosted memory. And so, power up your brain. And I want you to think about power brain foods. In this session, we will be talking about your brain health. And power brain foods boost your brain power and improve your memories. And by experiencing these health recipe course, you know, because you've been in this course, that what you put in your mouth affects your mood, your energy, your ability to handle stress, your ability to solve complex problems, your ability to have simple daily tasks. Plus, food affects your brain and your memory. Your brain only weighs 2% of your body weight, but yet it consumes 20% of the calories you eat. Let me repeat that. It only weighs 2% of your body weight, but consumes 20% of the calories you eat. The more nutrients, those vitamins and nutrients and minerals that you can eat, the sharper your brain works. And I'd like to use spaced repetition for you to learn these power brain foods that so that you can be naturally brainy. Because I want you to eat the following foods to power up your brain. Number one, I'd like you to eat seeds and nuts because seeds such as sunflower, in particular, sunflower and pumpkin seeds, are especially powerful for your brain. They contain a rich mixture of protein, omega fatty acids, and B vitamins. And these seeds also contain what we talked about, I think, 2 sessions ago, tryptophan that converts to serotonin, brain chemical that we need so much to not only boost your mood and combat depression, but these seeds can also help enhance memory and thinking skills. Let me repeat that. Something as simple as pumpkin flower seeds and sunflower seeds, and pumpkin seeds can enhance your memory and thinking skills. By eating just a handful of seeds daily, you will also provide daily recommended zinc. Now, zinc is very important to ward off a lot of these infections that are around colds and flu and that kind of thing. So just eating seeds and nuts, that's number one power food for your brain. Nuts also have vitamin E, which help reduce age-related cognitive decline, meaning memory loss. All right. So next, one of my favorites, blueberries. Blueberries contain antioxidants that can help protect your brain from stress and help improve your power up your memory. So blueberries are very, very important for brain food. I often tell teachers and I tell the school lunch ladies that when you know your school is in a testing program and what you should serve somehow for their morning breakfast, because most kids now eat breakfast, lunch, and some are even eating dinner at school. But I ask the school nutrition ladies to really serve blueberries because blueberries contain such rich antioxidants that protect your brain. So seeds and nuts and then blueberries. Salmon is next. Salmon is rich in omega-3 fatty acids, and which is very, very important for your brain function. So seeds and nuts, blueberries, salmon, and a lot of fish, but salmon in particular. Number 4, you're going to like this, dark chocolate. Dark chocolate contains natural stimulants would help you focus and concentrate. So dark chocolate, I say, is something that we like to eat for brain food. Number 5, beans. And I've got but there because we're going to show you in a minute how to use this more successfully. But beans are legumes. So you can either call them legumes or beans. And beans are an exceptional source of complex carbohydrates, but these complex carbohydrates are also mixed with fiber that slow down absorption, providing a steady source of glucose to the brain, which the brain needs for energy, and also without the risk of sugar spikes. So we've got seeds and nuts, blueberries, salmon, dark chocolate, beans or legumes. Next, broccoli and spinach. Broccoli, broccoli, broccoli. I cannot say enough about the superfood broccoli for the whole brain. It's one of the best foods to boost brain power and improve your memory. It also, I said this last week or the week before, it also can reduce cholesterol if you eat it. I just love broccoli. So research also suggests that broccoli can help contribute to the brain healing itself. Let me repeat that. Broccoli can help contribute to the brain healing itself in the event of a brain injury. Spinach, on the other hand, and other leafy greens such as kale and collards and broccoli and are all rich in brain healthy nutrients like vitamin K, lutein, folate, and beta carotene. Research suggests that these plant-based foods may help slow cognitive decline, and we're going to talk about that a lot tonight. And the last thing I'm going to put up is beets and tomatoes. Beets are one of the simplest ways to increase brain power naturally. Beets are high in nitrites, which help increase blood flow in parts of your brain related to executive functioning. So beets also have lots of B9, which aid in cognitive function and delay dementia. And so beets are rich in carotenoids, which can help boost brain function and keep away depression. Tomatoes contain a powerful antioxidant, leucopen, which can help protect the brain from free radical damage to the cells. So I'm going to say all these, but that's kind of hard to remember. So let me make it easy for you. Everything that I've just said in moderation. If you eat dark chocolate in great quantities, it will do exactly the opposite of what you want. In moderation, it's brilliant. Lots of it, not so good. So every bit of this is moderation is the key. And so let's go over this again. Let me help you let spaced repetition put this into your brain so that you can remember what foods are important to power up your brain. So let's go back. Number one, seeds and nuts. What I would like you to do is put your both hands, if you will, while you're sitting there, put both hands on the top of your head. And I want you to imagine putting a handful of seeds and nuts on your head and see them kind of falling down around you. So what is the number one power food? Seeds and nuts. Number two, blueberries. I'd like you to put both hands on your shoulders, and I want you to imagine putting a handful of blueberries on each shoulder and squish them in so they're getting your shirt all blueberried. So the number one power brain food is seeds and nuts on your head, blueberries. So number one and number two are seeds and nut, blueberries. Number three, I will be salmon. And I want you to put your hands on your chest and imagine a salmon flopping around on your chest. You can smell it, you can see it. And so, but it's very good brain food. So power brain foods are number one, seeds and nuts. Number two, blueberries. Number three, salmon. Number four is dark chocolate. Yum, yum. I want you to put your hands on your stomach because when you eat dark chocolate, that's where it's going to end up. So imagine eating dark chocolate and see it's going to wind up on your waist. So let's go back over that. Number one power brain food is seeds and nuts, hands on head. Number two is blueberry, hands on your shoulder. Number three is salmon, hands on your chest. Number four, dark chocolate, hands on your stomach. And so it's easy for you to remember when we attach it to body parts. Number five is beans and legumes. We think of beans for put your hands on your butt. And so by imagine a handful of beans on your butt, you know what will make the fart sound because beans are the musical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot. So we've got seeds and nuts on your head, blueberries on your shoulders, salmon on your chest, dark chocolate on your stomach, beans falling off of your butt. And so those are the top brain foods. Number six is broccoli and spinach. And so touch your thighs, because we know that Popeye ate a lot of spinach and he was healthy all the time. He never was sick. And so broccoli and spinach will make you strong like Popeye. So number one brain food is seeds and nuts. Two is blueberries on your shoulders, salmon on your chest, dark chocolate on your stomach, beans on your butt, broccoli and spinach on your thigh. And now the last ones are beets and tomatoes. And we think of touch your toes, say beet feet and tomatoes. Get it? So power brain foods are seeds and nuts on your head, blueberries on your shoulders, salmon on your chest, dark chocolate on your stomach, beans falling off your butt, broccoli and spinach on your thighs, beets and tomatoes on your toes. And so if you will put that in your head, I guarantee you that's a way to memorize what are some of the foods that are very, very, very good to keep your memory boosted and to keep your brain healthy. One more time, touch your head, seeds and nuts, touch your shoulders, blueberries, touch your chest, salmon, touch your stomach, dark chocolate, touch your bum, it's beans on your butt. Touch your thighs, broccoli and spinach, beets and tomatoes on your toes. And so that's the easiest way I know to remember the power foods that will keep your brain geared up. And remember, eat all of this in moderation. In moderation. Meet Dr. Neil Barnard. Isn't he a cutie? Everyone knows good nutrition. His saying is everyone knows good nutrition supports your overall health. But few realize that certain foods, power foods, can protect your brain and optimize its function, and even dramatically reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease. Dr. Barnard is a renowned expert in the field of health and nutrition, and he's authored several books. And he combines his intensive professional knowledge with his own personal experiences with the death of his fathers from Alzheimer's. And so, Alzheimer's, I love this picture because this to me is Alzheimer's disease. It just erases your memory. And Dr. Barnard's father died on February 8, 2012. He said his father's heart stopped on February 8th, but his father had died years earlier with the onset of Alzheimer's disease. He started dying, as Dr. Barnard said, moment to moment with memory lapses, loss of his personality, and finally his ability to take care of himself. Dr. Barnard, he witnessed firsthand his father's loss of memory. And when he lost his memory, he lost everything, because you lose everyone who ever mattered to you. And he discovered, but with a few simple guidelines, you could enjoy the benefits of better mental health, improve your cognitive abilities no matter what age you are, avoid the terrible disease such as Alzheimer's, and reduce mental aging effects such as memory loss. He passionately wants to save others from suffering memory loss and Alzheimer's disease, and he's come up with some very easy to do things that each one of us, if we made simple changes in what we do, we could also have fabulous memory well into the hundreds. So, and he starts with Alzheimer's disease affects about half of the Americans by mid 80s. Let me repeat that. Alzheimer's disease affects about half of Americans by their mid 80s. This is outrageous. Half of people that get to their 80s. I just will not accept that. And so this is beta amyloid. And so if you could look into the brain of a person who's got Alzheimer's disease, what you see is between the brain cells are these unusual looking structures, beta amyloid protein. And so we see on the left the normal beta amyloid, but on the right, you can see that they're broken, and then they kind of collect over to the side into like these meatball looking yellow things. And so they're structures. but they shouldn't be in the brain at all. And so these meatball structures are a hallmark of Alzheimer's disease. This breaks your heart. And again, Alzheimer's disease affects half of the people that reach their 80s. I just think this is terrible. So what we need to look at is what is apoepsilon 4? Well, if you go to a Western medical doctor and you asked her, what can I do to stop Alzheimer's or dementia? Very likely your doctor would say, not much. It comes with old age and with genetics. This is the number one thing that doctors say. And let's look at genetics. There is a gene called the apoepsilon 4. This particular gene is responsible for creating a protein that carries cholesterol and fat to your bloodstream. And this gene is considered to be one of the main causes of early onset dementia and dementia with a genetic component. If you have this gene from one parent, your risk is tripled if you have for Alzheimer's. If you have this gene from both parents, your risk is 10 to 15 times higher than it was before. So again, if you ask your Western doctor how to keep your brain healthy and free from dementia, most often you'll be told, I'm sorry, it just comes with old age. It's in your genes. There's not a darn thing that we can do. Just wait for it to happen. Well, I don't know about you, but I am not waiting. And so what can you do? I mean, do you go out and get new parents with different genes? That's ridiculous. Or do you just accept that there's nothing you can do? And I think both of that is bollocks. I don't believe in either one of those. So let me show you some different things that we can do that will give you a positive outlook and that you can do to keep your memory. There is hope. Chicago Health and Aging Project did a study, and Chicago researchers looked at what people in Chicago are eating. Is this not interesting? They looked at what people are eating. They researched hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people and had them keep very careful dietary records of what they ate and what they drank. And as the years went by, the researchers wanted to discover who stayed mentally clear and who developed dementia. And they looked at what they ate. The first thing that the Chicago study keyed in on was something I saw and loved as a kid. You see, my father was raised in Jackson, Michigan on a farm. And although my mom was a brilliant cook and she was from Boston and did most of the cooking, I'll be honest, my father liked to show off his only cooking skill, which was to make breakfast. And he would get out his big, trusty old cast iron skillet, and he would drop a pound of bacon in it. And we would gleefully run down to the kitchen when the smell of bacon walked through the house. And Dad would usually take a fork, stick it in, get in the frying pan, pull out the hot bacon strips, and put them on paper towel to cool down. When the bacon was out of the pan, he would carefully lift up his hot cast iron skillet and he'd pour the grease into a jar to save. And he'd say, "That's good bacon grease. You don't want to lose that." My father would take that jar and put it on the shelf, not in the refrigerator, because he knew that bacon grease, when it cools, would solidify. And the next day, his jar that he kept on the shelf, he would just spoon it back into the frying pan to fry eggs and more bacon. To this day, I can tell you, I absolutely adore bacon. I love the smell of bacon. I love to eat bacon. And I love the bacon grease. I'll be honest. I can even dip bread in bacon grease. It's not good. I'm not proud of it. And so after I read this, I don't do that anymore. But the fact I want you to hear is bacon grease forms into a solid. Are you listening? And is loaded with saturated fat. That's the bad fat that raises the cholesterol. Yikes. It's kind of amazing that any of us kids made it to adulthood, because the number one source of saturated fat, it actually is not bacon. It's dairy products, cheese in particular, and milk. And so the Chicago study found The very first thing that Chicago study keyed in on was saturated fat. In Chicago, some people ate relatively little saturated fat and about 13 grams a day, but others ate up to 25 grams per day. The researchers just looked at who developed Alzheimer's disease. So, number one, you got to limit your saturated fats and limit or eradicate your trans fats. Period. End of story. The Chicago study found if you avoided, hear me clearly on this, if you avoided the bad saturated fat, your risk was pretty low for developing dementia or Alzheimer's. Hear me clearly on this. If you do not want to have dementia or Alzheimer, limit now. Absolutely limit now. I'm not saying you have to erase bacon, but limit it and take out trans fats. And so, but if you're sucking down cheese and bacon strips, your risk is 2 to 3 to 4 times more, 4 times higher than the people that did not eat this. 4 times higher risk that you will develop dementia and Alzheimer. Are you paying attention? Then the Chicago researchers looked at trans fat. Now, trans fats, they really should never. They've been taken out all over the world except in America. But these are fats that are used in most dairy bakery products, such as donuts and pastries in particular, snack foods in particular. Use trans fats. Subway finally had to get rid of the trans fats that they had in their bread because so many people complained about it. And so, but they found the very same pattern as saturated fats with the trans fats. The people who tended to avoid the saturated fat and the trans fats could also avoid cholesterol and heart disease, but they could also take out keep their brain healthy by using this less trans fat and saturated fats. But when Finland decided, they looked at the Chicago study and they said, well, wait a minute, let's go even further. They said they wanted to look at this condition called mild cognitive impairment, where you're still managing your checkbook, you're driving, you have friends, but you're having mental lapses, especially with words and names and recalling things. They brought in over 1,000 adults that were 50 years old. And once again, they looked at what they ate, what their diet was, to determine who developed mild cognitive impairment. Some of their study participants ate relatively little fat, while others ate a fair amount. They looked at whose memories started to fail. And they found the exact same pattern that the Chicago study did. It's not just, will I get Alzheimer's disease, but will I have old age memory problems? What about the gene ApoE4, the one that condemns you to Alzheimer's disease? So the Finnish redid the study, focusing only on those people that had the gene. And again, some of the people with the gene ate little fat and others ate a lot more. The results, the same pattern emerged. Study participants who avoided the bad fats, even if they had the gene, did not have the memory loss. So the good news is your risk of developing memory problems was cut by 80%. Let me repeat that, 80% cut for memory problems. So please listen to this. Genes are not your destiny. Please, please stop thinking that genes are going to say what's going to happen to you. Part of the solution to avoid memory problems is, and dementia and Alzheimer's, are you listening, is to avoid or limit saturated fats and trans fats. You can take charge of your brain's health and your brain's memory if you will limit, use only in moderation dairy, red meats, certain oils, snack pastries. I almost say get rid of them because they almost always have trans fat in them. And fried foods, a lot of trans fat there, can reduce Alzheimer's risk. This is brilliant. Number 6, another one is cast iron. You can take care of your brain's health, but we know that Alzheimer's affects about half of Americans by their mid 80s. Half. I am not going to be in that half. And I don't want that for you either. So hopefully I've made you aware to limit or totally avoid saturated fats and limit saturated fats and totally avoid, in my opinion, trans fats. But next, I want to make you aware that there also have things like iron and copper metals that can get into your brain. And yikes, who wants to have copper and iron in your brain? Like I said, my dad proudly made us breakfast in his trusty cast iron skillet. That's just the one in the middle. And so he never washed that pan, nor did he leave it soaking in the sink. Why? Because he knew it would rust. And let me tell you, when something rusts, it's called oxidation. That's why my father never washed his cast iron skillet, because he knew it would rust. And so iron and copper oxidize in your body, means it rusts your body. There's where you're getting this old age thinking from. As iron and copper oxidize in your body, they cause the production of what we call free radicals. So free radicals are those molecules that are swimming around in your bloodstream that create havoc, illness when they get out of control. And they can also get into your brain. They act like sparks that singe through the connections between one cell and the next. And how is this happening to you and everyone else? Where are we getting all this iron and copper? Well, do you cook with a cast iron skillet? I used to, I don't anymore. But if you only cook once a month, say with a cast iron skillet, then I'd say okay. But if you're using a cast iron skillet like my daddy did every single day, you're getting the iron from the cast iron skillet into your food, and it's more iron than you need. When we talked about the session on vitamins and minerals, we all need iron, but we only need it in little teeny amounts. And so it's small amounts that we need. And my dad often worried about his memory. He used that cast iron skillet. I can remember every single day of his life almost. And when he was older, he worried about it because he kept saying, I see somebody, of course I know their name, and I can't bring it up. It's like it's in a file cabinet and I can't get to it. And with words. And so these are things that we see having memory lapse where you know it could be your sister, and all of a sudden you cannot bring up their name. So this is particularly when we need to take a look at using different foods. And so another way that we can get these metals into our body is the copper pipes. And so copper pipes, most of us have copper pipes in our houses, and the water sits in those copper pipes all night. In the morning, it goes into the coffee maker. It's in, you're drinking that copper, and you're getting more than you need. The iron and copper start producing the free radicals that can go right to your brain. So, and it happens with the too much iron, too much copper. Also, if you're a big red meat eater, especially liver, there's iron and copper in those foods too. We used to think, and I can remember as a kid, they would want us to eat our liver. But now that's what they used to think. But we now realize that iron is a double-edged sword. You need a little bit of iron, but if you have too much, it becomes toxic. So, and then the same thing with vitamins. The vitamin manufacturers throw in iron and copper into vitamins A, C, D, and some vitamin Bs. So you have to be careful and start looking. They did not recognize that you're already getting enough iron from your foods. So if they add it to your supplement, you are getting too much. So aside from the fact that saturated fat and trans fats will increase your risk of memory loss, dementia, and Alzheimer's, these metals will do that too. They're causing free radical sparks to form in the brain and that burn through those connections. So if that's the case, then you're going to need a fire extinguisher. The good news is you have your own fire extinguisher. It's called vitamin E. And so vitamin E, oops, is that somebody else wanting to get in? Okay, oops. Vitamin E is next. And so vitamin E is like spinach and mangoes and especially nuts and seeds. In the Chicago study, some of the study participant people ate a little bit of vitamin E and others ate a lot of vitamin E foods. Like I said during the vitamin session, the beauty of vitamin E, it's an antioxidant. Oh my gosh, that knocks out free radicals. So if you're getting these free radicals from other places, vitamin E is your fire extinguisher that knocks them out. The people in Chicago who were in the study who ate only a little bit of vitamin E would be much higher risk than people for dementia and memory loss than people that ate a lot of vitamin E. That's exactly what the research showed. People getting 8 milligrams of a day of vitamin E can cut their risk of Alzheimer's by half. Let me repeat that. This is such powerful information. Vitamin E is essential. The people who ate a lot of vitamin E reduced their ability and reduce their risk of memory loss, dementia, and Alzheimer's. But here's the part I love, and I want to repeat this and repeat this and repeat this. People getting 8 milligrams a day of vitamin E cut their risk of Alzheimer's by almost half. This is powerful stuff. Just 8 milligrams a day of vitamin E cut your risk of Alzheimer's by half. We can look at the picture and see seeds and nuts and avocado, some of the things that we saw were the power food for the brain. So how do you get 8 milligrams of vitamin E? Don't run to the store and buy a bottle of vitamins, please. Here's how you do it. Nature has 8 forms of vitamin E. These 8 forms of vitamin E are built into seeds and nuts. They're built in. It's just nature's way of giving you what you need. But the vitamin manufacturers, they can put into their supplement pills just one form of vitamin E, and they get to call it legally vitamin E. If you're getting too much of one form of vitamin E, it reduces your absorption of all the others. So I say nature is the best design of vitamin E. It's the form that we've used and it evolves. So how much should you have? Think of it like this. If you put some seeds and nuts into the palm of your hand, and by the time it starts to hit your fingers, that's about 1 ounce. So actually the palm of your hand is about 1 ounce of seeds and nuts. So that's 5 milligrams. That's about 5 milligrams of vitamin E. Now, here's my tasty tidbit. Don't eat it out of your hand, because if you do, you know what happens. You'll eat handful after handful after handful, because who doesn't love tasty, salty nuts? There's something so wonderful about salted cashews. I love them. They're addictive. So the other tidbit is, instead of doing it like that, you can measure it by your palm of your hand, but don't eat it out of your hand, because then you'll just go in and grab another handful, and that can be very fattening. So you don't want to do that. Instead, you can crumble them up and put them on a salad. Sometimes people put them in oatmeal, the seeds and nuts. You can put them in pancakes. You can do all kinds of things for a savory snack. But if you eat them handful after handful, what I said was, everything in moderation. Just eat little bits of them, but it makes it so wonderful. Getting 15 milligrams of vitamin E daily from seeds and nuts, leafy green vegetables, and whole grains are beneficial to your health, to your brain health, to eradicate those free radicals. So eat foods rich in vitamin E. And so next, eat plant-based foods. Another study, researchers at the University of Cincinnati went one step further, not just about saturated fat, limiting saturated fat and getting rid of trans fats and eating more vitamin E, but they said, what about color? Blueberries and grapes, the colors that they have are dramatic. The colors of blueberries aren't just that it makes them pretty, they are called the anthocyanins. They are brilliant for your health. This research, University of Cincinnati research, brought together 78 individuals who were all a group of individuals that were all 78, and everybody was already starting to have memory problems. Listen to this. They were already starting to have memory problems. And here's what the study asked participants to do. They had them drink grape juice a pint per day. Grape juice. Not that sugary one, I won't name the brand, but don't use that. Pure grape juice, a pint a day. A cup in the morning, a cup at night. Just 3 months later, are you listening? 3 months later, these people that were 78 years old that were already having memory problems, their memory was better, their recall was better, and just 3 months from drinking grape juice. And here's how it works. Think about it. A grape has a really tough life. It sits out in the sun all day long, under the sun, exposed to all the elements. It doesn't seem to have any protection, except its color. That deep purple color, those anthocyanins happen to, I might be saying that wrong, anthocyanins happen to be a powerful antioxidant, just like vitamin E, but they are in great form. When you consume them, they go into your bloodstream. If that's true, it doesn't have to be grapes. It could be anything that's that color, blueberries. And what do I always talk about? Cherry juice. So back in the laboratory, they went for this another study. They got another group of patients and they all had memory problems. And this time they gave them blueberry juice for their memory. 3 months, a cup in the morning, cup in the evening. Their memory was better, their recall was better. So the moral of this story is have grapes and blueberries, and of course my cherry juice. It's not just to have grapes or blueberries, it's the color. Look at the colorful foods. So color makes a difference. And I always say, eat the rainbow to be healthy. And I want you to take my take the MGM challenge. I want you to go into your local grocery store and I want you to stand in the produce department and stand like 100 feet away looking at the produce department. And what happens? What are the 5 veggies your eyes are drawn to? Instantaneously, your retina can detect them because that's the color of orange as a carrot, or the color of red as a tomato, or the color of purple as a grape. The brain also tells you they're pretty, they're attractive, I like them. And that means your brain is constantly recognizing antioxidants. These are the antioxidants that you need to keep your brain healthy, to keep yourself healthy. They recognize all of these antioxidants, the beta carotenes, the lycopenes. And so your eyes are drawn to this naturally. A diet rich in fruits and vegetables, legumes, and whole grains protects you against Alzheimer's risk factors. Let's look at this and I'll tell you. Red. All the foods that are red, looking at that picture, those are the cherries and the cherry tomatoes and the beets and the chili peppers. Red foods help, are you listening? Help improve your heart and your blood health. You can think of red blood health. Red foods help improve your heart and your blood health, and they support joint function. Plus, they remove those damaging free radicals. So red foods are brilliant. Eat more of them. Orange. Orange foods help prevent cancer. reduce the risk of heart disease, promote eye health, supports healthy joints, and promotes collagen growth to protect your skin. Yellow foods fortify skin elasticity, help your hearts and eyes, and improve digestion and your immune system. Green foods. Green foods are good for your bones, aid in tissue healing, and are strengthening your immune system. And most importantly, are powerful. Listen to this one. Powerful detoxers that fight free radicals. That's why I say spinach and broccoli are so powerful for you to have great brain health and improve your memory. Then looking at the blue and purple foods help with mineral absorption, fight inflammation. That's why I say cherry juice is always so powerful for you. And tart cherries and fight inflammation and boost your memory and brain functions. Wait for it, and they're a powerful antioxidant. And then white foods that activate your natural killer cells to reduce your risk of cancer and support immunity in your circulatory system. That would be cauliflower. And so, if you eat the rainbow, it is brilliant. It can help you dramatically with brain function, and importantly, it can reduce your risk for dementia and Alzheimer's. The next thing to reduce your risk of Alzheimer's is, I will say, take a vitamin B12 supplement daily. Now, remember, vitamin B is water soluble. So when you have water soluble, you can't take too much, because if you do, it will take it out of its body in your urine. So, and according to researchers from the University of Oxford in England, vitamin B12 deficiency has been associated with memory loss, especially in older adults. So, vitamin B12 may play a vital role in preventing brain atrophy, which is the loss of neurons in the brain and often associated with memory loss or dementia. While the recommended daily dose of vitamin B12 for adults is 2.5 micrograms, you can safely take higher doses. The ideal doses of B12 supplement, however, is actually up to 5,000 megagrams for optimal potency, micrograms. Your body absorbs only as much as it needs, and remember, because it's water soluble, any excess goes out through your urine. Your body absolutely needs this vitamin B12 to ensure your nerves and blood cells stay healthy. Vitamin B12 comes in a variety of supplement forms, pills and sprays and gummies and all kinds of foolish things. For some, choosing the right vitamin B12 supplement boils down to, I know, personal preference. Because if it's hard to swallow pills, for example, you might try something else. But my favorite, and most experts agree that the best way to ingest B12 is sublingually under the tongue, since you are highly bioavailable, meaning that it's easy to absorb. So liquid drops and sprays or caplets that dissolve under the tongue are absorbed faster than the gummies and pills, which have to be broken down in your intestines. So also vitamin B12 is sublingually, and it acts very, very fast and contains high concentrations of B12s. And it has a pleasant taste to it. So make sure you select the vitamin B12 that has the methylcobalamin, and it's there on the bottom, and that's here, is a natural source form of B12, which is far more bioavailable and absorbed by the cells and retained by the tissues than the B12 synthetics. You see, once again, the companies are always looking to make a synthetic which is made in a source locally, a source naturally. And so look for this in each one of the B12 supplements that you get. And research also has shown that this will stay in your body longer at a higher level than the synthetic, which is cyano, and it's spelled CYANOCOBALAMIN. So you want the metho is used much more efficiently, so the brain and the nervous system. So this is the one that I take. It's the vegan 12, a B12, and it's by Live Well. Okay. And so another thing that I'd like is avoid vitamins with iron. We've already discussed this, so I'm not going to stay long on this, but evidence shows that excess iron may contribute to Alzheimer's risk. So once again, small amounts of iron we all need. We can't wipe out iron all completely, but consume iron supplements only when directed by a physician. Like I had a thing where I needed to take a little bit more iron, but not now. So I do not take. So do not have it added to your vitamins. And so the last thing I want to say is exercise. The University of Illinois researchers brought together a group of 150 adults, and they asked them to take a brisk walk 3 times a week. After a year, everyone went back into the lab for a brain scan, and they measured the hippocampus, the seat of memory, which is in the center of the brain. And the hippocampus decides what you should let into your memory and what you don't need to memory, because you can look it up. It turned out that this organ, the hypothalamus, the hippocampus, is gradually shrinking in older adults. But hear this, it suddenly stopped shrinking when participants started to exercise. They found that your hippocampus was a little bit bigger and bigger and bigger the longer you exercise, as if time was making it go backwards and reverse the brain's shrinkage. This was fabulous to hear. On memory tests, people that were exercising did substantially better than the ones that did not. The University of Illinois study asked participants to start by taking a 10-minute walk 3 times a day. Then the second week, take a 15-minute walk 3 times a day. Then the third week, take a 20-minute walk 3 times a day. They just added 5 minutes a week until they got up to walking 40 minutes of a brisk walk, not just sauntering, but a brisk walk. And so what they found is this was not a trudge, but it was a good brisk walk. And for 40 minutes, 3 times a day is all you need to improve memory and reverse brain shrinkage. So tonight, hopefully, you have learned some ways to keep away the risk of dementia. We didn't talk about this yet, but quickly, I just want to say, by getting a good night's sleep, you can create a relaxing nighttime routine, and this will help to signal to your brain that it's time to go to sleep. Keep mentally active, and the more that we keep our brains mentally active by learning new things is exceptional. Of course, tonight we had our only drink of the whole season, so it wants to limit alcohol. You don't have to do away with it, but don't drink more than 14 units a week, spread over 3 or 4 more days, and include several alcohol-free days. So I drink almost nothing nowadays, like maybe once a month or once a quarter when I go out. But it has made a huge difference. Not that I was ever a big drinker, but alcohol really does not help your brain function well. To be socially active, I know in these days of shutdown, it's hard, but just having our Zoom meetings are great. Taking regular exercise, whether you're walking each day or mixing it up with me. I usually walk in the mornings. If I don't walk in the mornings, I've got a tricycle thing that I've got with baskets on it, and I ride my tricycle up to the food stores and I get my groceries by riding to the store. And so it's very good. So what do we say? 40 minutes a day, briskly walking 3 times a day. Quit smoking. If you're still smoking, really give that some thought to give that up. We've talked about eating the healthy diet. We'll go over those power of brain foods again in a minute, and manage your stress here again by Eating properly, you can bring down your stress levels and maintaining a healthy weight. I know some of us have actually eaten a lot more during the pandemic than we should have. And even if we're exercising, but it's time for us to really look at this. The average man needs around 2,500 calories and the average woman around 2,000 a day to maintain a healthy weight. So we're going to look at that. So once again, I want you to go over the brain food. So if you'll do with me, number one, hands on your heads. What is a brain food, power brain food? Seeds and nuts. Number two, without looking, is put your hands on your shoulders, blueberries. Number three is salmon because it has omega. So see that on your chest, flopping up and down. So you see that salmon. Next comes your stomach, the dark chocolate, because that's where it's going to go, right to your stomach. Next comes the beans. You put those on your butt because we know they're the musical fruit and they'll go toot, toot, toot. And next comes the spinach. We call it broccoli and spinach. And then they are good because Popeye uses those. And then the last are beets and tomatoes, and they are beet and tomatoes. And so seeds and nuts, blueberries, salmon, dark chocolate, beans, spinach and broccoli, and beets and tomatoes. These are your power brain foods that are exceptional. And when you eat them, we can reduce almost by half any dementia or Alzheimer's. So if you want to stay healthy, brain healthy, these are the things that you must do. Exercise 40 minutes 3 times a week. Moderation is the key to all of these foods. Eat dark chocolate, but if you eat a whole box of it, that's not particularly good for you. Moderation is the key.